Michael, it's really it's such a devastation to know that the people of Mozambique have to deal with yet another cyclone just 5 weeks after it died. And from what we understand, this cyclone may just be a little bit stronger than the last, even though not as large.
Yes, indeed. The cyclone made landfall yesterday. It's a Category 4. The last cyclone a month ago was a Category 3 and brought great destruction. Last night, as I said, it made landfall with a Category 4 with winds as fast as 220 kilometers per hour. So we have our volunteers on the ground, on standby, working with the community members. Yesterday and the days before, they were supporting the evacuation onto higher ground of community members, together with the government agency, the disaster management agency of the government. This is obviously a big disaster for Mozambique. After recovering from the first disaster of a month ago, now we're grappling with this one. What usually happens is that after the cyclone, then we get a lot of rain. We're expecting a lot of rain in the next 2-3 days, and that will be then the second disaster, which is really flooding. Flooding of the communities, and we all know that, with flooding comes, damaged houses, with flooding comes issues around relocation. So we are preparing with the government relocation sites. The government has allocated some schools where population can move to, so that at least they can get relief.
I mean, we saw the effects that Idai had, and we saw also that when it came to the evacuation process, many individuals were, it was a struggle to get people into greater places of safety and housing, etc. In this case, what arrangements have been made? I mean, people are still recovering, literally recovering. Some haven't even recovered yet from Idai, and now we're expecting Kenneth to hit a little bit more harder. So those are places of safety that have been made available. I mean, where are they? How do people get access to them? And most importantly, how do you ensure that supplies remain consistent during this time?
Yeah, so luckily this time around, at least with the meteorological services, we got a few days alert that this is coming. So schools have been prepared. Some of the volunteers have been, constructing and making sure that relief items are in place. So we are working together with the community members, with the government. Luckily, the cyclone is not hitting in the exact place where it hit a month ago. So that population is not affected. As the Red Cross, we are still dealing with that population in terms of providing aid to the victims of Cyclone Idai. And now we are now going to a new location where we will be again supporting the communities there and making sure that we can bring relief to them, bring succor to them, and make sure that they're able to build back better. I think for us, the longer term strategy is really around disaster risk reduction, making sure that we're able to support the communities to be stronger, to build better shelter, to make sure that water sanitation is not an issue anymore. So really being in the community for the community members and ensuring that we can accompany them to greater things to come.
I mean, Michael, speaking about better disaster management strategies, I mean, we're looking at the fact that some of those houses that you quite rightly mentioned, they're not necessarily strong enough to hold such extreme weather conditions. And then in this case, then, does that mean that any sort of rebuilding has been halted for the moment just to wait for the storm to subside? Or are individuals continuing and organizations continuing really to rebuild and to assist communities with the rebuilding of some of those structures that were lost in the previous cyclone?
Well, we're trying to build back better. Obviously, we will build back stronger. So for the Cyclone Idai, our strategy there is to assist communities that their houses have been really affected, really damaged, to build more solid structures for them and ensure that at least when and if another cyclone comes, there's greater chance that their houses will be less destroyed or not destroyed at all.
Michael, thanks a lot for joining us this morning. Michael Charles from the Red Cross.